You're gonna learn how to invest and make money even if you have no experience. Hi, I'm Trevor, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can get started in investing with little to no capital, whether it's real estate, if it's stocks. The key is to knowing where to put your money, and the sooner you start, the better. In today's video, I'll be highlighting the exact steps in process to start investing, going from all the way from zero to becoming a millionaire investing. So before the video starts, make sure you smash the like button. It massively helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And feel free to get 2 free stocks down below when you sign up with Webull and deposit $100. Now, I'll be touching up about Webull later inside of this video, so stay tuned for that. Now I'm going to jump into how you can get started investing, going from zero to a millionaire. This is investing for beginners. Let's go. Now, number one on the list is you're going to need to figure out your goals. Now, without clear goals and what you want to achieve while you're investing, your investing goals, while you're investing, it might be kind of worthless in a way because you're investing with no intentions of what you want to achieve. Now, the very first thing that I highly suggest you to do is to write down what goals you want to have while investing. Whatever it is, to have dividends paid out to you every single week, or in a way that it can fund your lifestyle, or you just want to have a ton of growth stocks so you can sell off the positions into a retirement fund like a Roth IRA and then live off that. Whatever your goal is, set aside it, write it on a whiteboard, and make it clear of what your goal is when you're trying to invest, going from zero to a millionaire. Now, number two is you're going to need to get a handle on your finances. Now, what this means is basically you need to start, first of all, tracking your money. And if you don't know how to start tracking your money, the very first step that I would take is to either make a Google Sheets and track down all your income and expenses. It doesn't need to be very complicated. Google Sheets just does the job. And then I would start using mint.com. Now, mint.com is a free to use website that essentially connects all your income sources, your bank accounts, your PayPal accounts, your assets like your home, your property, your car, and just any other assets like cash that you can go ahead and add to mint.com. It will calculate your net worth. And what this is used for is to basically give you a brief overview of how much you have invested in all your retirement accounts, your Roth IRA, your personal investing accounts, and just a rough idea at a quick glance of how much you're worth and how much you need to be invested to live off without ever working a day in your life. Now, once you have figured out your finances, it's very important to build out an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund, you want to have it cover at least 3 to 6 months is what the investors recommend. So just set aside 6 months worth of your income in a savings account, preferably a high yield savings account. So in case of any emergencies, you can go ahead and pull that out. Now, I did do a video on savings account. It was a while ago, but you can still watch it on some high yield savings account for 2020. And if you don't want to go through the video, that's fine. Just sign up on Ally Bank. It's by far the easiest, and it gives you a very good interest rate compared to all the other physical banks. And at the same time, Ally Bank does have a very great customer base and customer support in general. So building up an emergency fund is going to be crucial, so you have something to rely on in case anything goes wrong. Once you've finally done all these 3 steps, now you're finally ready to start investing. Now, the very first thing and very first asset that you want to look into when you're investing is going to be broad index funds. Now, index funds are basically, in a simple way, a fund, or like think of it like as a basket. Now, the basket has all the other big companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all these big players, usually big tech companies in these index funds. And when you buy an index fund, you're basically buying all these companies at once, but you're just a small fraction of all these companies. So essentially you're kind of owning, if you buy a dollar worth of a index fund, that index fund is going to be part of Apple. Now you can finally say I own a little part of Apple. So that's pretty cool. So the very first thing to start out with is going to be index funds. Index funds are going to be the easiest. You don't need to start looking for individual stocks and try and get high returns. Just in general, index funds are going to give you about 7 to 8% per year. Now, it doesn't guarantee you'll get 7 to 8%. Some years will go down and some years will get higher returns. But in general, in a 10-year lifespan time period, you'll average right around 8% annually. And with that type of return, you can go ahead and set money aside. And it shouldn't be a fund that you need to worry about. It should be a pretty low effort, low hassle fund that you can go ahead and dump money on. And it's going to be your main basis in terms of stock market investing. Now, this is another step which doesn't really correlate back to number 4, but you want to keep costs low by using these brokerages. Now, most brokerages these days have $0 fee for trades and buy and sells, but there are a lot of boomers out there that just are getting started investing, and they're probably using something like Edward Jones. This isn't said to say that Edward Jones is a bad company. They do have unnecessary fees where you can go ahead and use online brokerages that have absolutely no fees. You can buy fractional shares, and at the same time having your portfolio accessible at the same time with just a click of an app on your smartphone. Now, the apps that I recommend is not going to be Robinhood, because everyone knows what has happened with Robinhood. So I'm going to suggest you some apps like M1 Finance, Fidelity, Schwab Investing, and Webull. Now, I recently just got into M1 Finance, and I've really loved the pie feature. And what the pie feature is, I'm just going to touch up about it very quickly, is you're going to make a pie. It's like a circle, and you can put the individual stocks or ETFs in each of these pies. So let's say you have 4 or 5 companies in a pie, and when you deposit $100, that $100 goes into the pie and splits off to all of these different ETFs and stocks or mutual funds that you set inside the pie. So it's very easy, set and forget. And for that simple reason, I highly suggest anyone just check out M1 Finance for its simplicity in the way of these pies. So I'll leave a link down below to sign up with M1 Finance if you're new, and I believe you'll get $25 when you sign up with my link. So feel free to use that link if you want to support the channel. And the last step is going to be dollar cost investing. Now, all these steps are going to be very straightforward, and investing shouldn't be as hard as most people put it. Their videos are usually like 15 minutes long, but this video is very short because in general, investing isn't as hard as you probably think. Now, there are tons of videos out about how you can get started investing, but in this video, it's going to be straight to the point of how you can start investing. You first need to get your finances all set, and then you want to start building an emergency fund, then look into broad ETFs. Now, once you are into broad ETFs and you can start playing around with individual stocks, just keep in mind, set your broad ETFs and your index funds as your foundation that you return always to, and pick individual stocks and put money on these individual stocks that you're willing to lose, because individual stocks have way higher risk than index funds. And sure, you can make more money, but you can sure lose it all at the same time. So for most people, most investors, very basic investors, just putting money in the index fund is going to be safest, easiest, and it's going to give you a good, nice return in the long run. And with that being said, you want to start dollar cost investing, which is step number 6 and the last step. And what dollar cost investing is, it is basically, in simple terms, it's just a strategy of buying individual stocks or index funds to reduce your price risk. So basically, you're going to be setting a monthly timer or a buy option on M1 Finance, for example, to buy and invest into your pie every single month at the very first of each month, $100. Now what this does is you're not buying at the very high of the market and you're not buying at the very low of the market. And in the long run, studies show that if you use the dollar cost averaging method, you're going to get higher returns than someone that is timing the market, which is always buying at the lowest of the market. And in the long run, which is what you're supposed to do if you're watching this video, is dollar cost investing. Instead of using your money as a one-time investment when the stock market has completely crashed down, just like with one single purchase, you divide up all your investments into small quantities of the investments at regular intervals. So let's say the very first day of each month. This decreases the risk that your investment completely goes like negative 50% overnight. Because if one price drops, you know that you bought at a lower price and at a higher price, so you average the price out in the long run. So if you have any questions regarding any of these questions on how you can get started investing, especially for beginners, leave them down below inside of the description. I know this was pretty short and it shouldn't be really too complicated to get started investing. Now, if you want a step-by-step tutorial on how you can like set up M1 Finance, which is a brokerage, then I can definitely make a video on that. But for the general blueprint and like the steps, this is how you get started investing. And just keep at this, set aside money every single month, set aside a recurring investment, and sooner than later, over time, you'll become a millionaire. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and grab 2 free stocks down below with Webull and $25 with M1 Finance if you do go with M1 Finance. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.